Oh, hey there. It's Hyper-019. So, I realize it's been a while, and today we're gonna actually continue the how to make a deck part 2 video that I made like 10 years ago. So, let's get started. Okay, so obviously to start we're gonna need some Pokemon cards to build a deck. Actually, before even that, let's clean up the desk a bit, shall we? Okay, so we're back. Desk is a little bit more clean. So remember what I said in the first video? Great, because I don't. So with that being said, let's just start from scratch again. So how do you make a deck? Well, great news. If you haven't figured it out, I actually play the game now. So what we're going to need is some Pokemon cards. And not just some energy cards. We need real Pokemon out here. So let's start off with a choice of Pokemon that I selected. My big beautiful binder. I have selected, wait for it.
Where did he go? This handsome boy. Okay.
I've selected this handsome boy to be my main guy. So what you want to do is essentially have a main attacker or a main strategy that you want to play against. So, you know, to win in Pokemon, just to recap, you need to knock out your opponent's Pokemons and take 6 prize cards. And these guys, the special guys, the EXs, are worth 2 prize cards. And then you have normal Pokemon that are only worth 1. So start off with your strategy. This is the most conventional play. You want to knock out your Pokemon, your enemy Pokemon, and get 6 prize cards. Some of them could be EXs, so that's only 3 EXs to constitute your 6 prize cards. Okay, so for me, I'm going to pick this Greninja, and because he just looks really cool and he's got cool moves. So his first attack lets him Shinobi Blade, lets Greninja search for a card, as well as doing solid damage. So what that means is you can be doing attack, and this attack can basically 2-hit knockout most Pokemon, almost all the Pokemon that you would see while playing. So for a consistent 2-hit knockout, you can also search to set up your next attack or your next Greninja. And the occasional bench snipe, which is also very fun to play. So when if you discard 2 energies, you can do 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So this allows you to hit bench Pokemon, which is something that in the format is pretty useful, especially going up against a lot of starter Pokemon that need evolution, such as a starter Charizard deck. So after all that yapping, let's get some more other Pokemon out. Bam, we're back. Okay, so once we figured out our main attacker, as mentioned, we can actually think about how we want to formulate our deck. So my idea is, if I see somebody big, I'm going to use the first attack to do 2-hit knockouts, and if I see some small guys on the bench, I can use Mirage Barrage to snipe them out and effectively slow my opponents down. So to do that, I've decided to combo it with a Froslass. So this Froslass will allow us to put damage counter during Pokemon checkup on any Pokemon that have abilities. So the Greninja line over here that I have actually do not have any abilities, so which means my Greninjas won't take any damage, my Froslass won't take damage from its own ability, and most of the players that you will run into will probably have ability Pokemons which you can take advantage of. So I will give an example in a minute, but another thing I want to note is you want to formulate your deck on preferably Pokemon Trading Card Game Live, So you can see over here I have my entire deck list, and basically live is a great playground for you to analyze your deck, experiment with your deck. It's a very affordable way to play. It's free now, so you know, pick one guy. Here I picked the Greninja and play around online and see how it plays out. So this is very important if you want to experiment without spending too much money IRL. So with this in mind, for the rest of the lineup, I also have a Bibarel. So this is going to be part of my draw engine. So this will allow me to, you know, draw cards. And so I have 5 cards in my hand, and I have 2 of them. And this does have an ability, so it's kind of a play with fire situation. So with Froslass, so your Bibarel will take damage. However, I think the draw engine is worth it, as this deck's main struggle before, while I was experimenting, is the lack of draw power. So oftentimes what you want to do is obviously get the cards you need to set up, and you will run into situations where you brick. So when you brick, that means you don't have the right cards to make a good play or any play. That's more frustrating. So the big takeaway that in how to build a deck is basically try and be consistent. So you'll see a lot of decks online that run many supporters, some of them like Iono. So Iono is a great card to help you draw in the early game and also to disrupt during late game. You'll see a lot of Arvens to help you to retrieve an item card. And item cards are obviously very powerful. So you have things like Rare Candy and Poffins to help you set up your deck. So all in all, you want a good amount of supporters, of trainers, to help you set up very quickly. So this deck specifically will revolve around setting up a good amount of Froakies, a good amount of Snorunts for Froslass, and at least one Bidoof to help you draw. So I've also comboed this deck with Irida, as Greninja, although not a water type Pokemon, the rest of them are. So this just helps me get any stage 1 Froslass, Frogadiers, or even some basic Pokemons during turn 1, and as well as a Poffin to help strengthen my starting turn. So I've formulated my deck around some solid staples, some bosses in case I need the occasional switch and snipe, and I found some cards that synergize with my type, which is water here. And so this is basically how I would normally build decks. Have some sort of staple, so some text like Lost Vacuum in case people play some tool that you don't like. You have some more draw power. I'm still experimenting. For Greninja attack, this will greatly accelerate. Some other tech in case people are using lots of rare candies to evolve, and some sort of draw engine as well if you can fit it in, because just for consistency. So Bibarel is definitely there for consistency, and obviously we can search over energies with Earthen Vessel. Now for A spec, so with the introduction of A spec, you can have one of these in your deck. So it's important to pick out which one you want, because these are very powerful, but don't over rely on them, so as they can still be prized, although low likelihood. So for mine, I've chosen to use Hyper Aroma just to search for some Froslass and some Frogadiers if I have room. So this will help me set those up, as I don't have no other way of searching for evolution Pokemon aside from the Ultra Ball and the Irida for the Froslass, so, or a Frogadier. So yeah, I've also been able to switch this with a Prime Catcher. I've also tried playing with Unfair Stamp. So really, part of building a deck is seeing what playstyle you like, what you want to do. If you think you want a more disruptive play, you can try Prime Catcher or Unfair Stamp. And For me personally, I've opted for consistency for now, but subject to change. Part of the game is deciding on, you know, things to add, things to remove, what works for you, what playstyle works for you. And I personally enjoy this Mirage Barrage attack to allow me to hit some opponent Bibarels, for example, or some opponent draw engine cards like the Radiant Greninja. So and that's just very smooth 2 prizers. Okay, we're back to building the deck. So I opt for 3 Froslass, only have 2 right now. Part of the building the deck is that you're not going to have everything you need. So sometimes you can use proxy cards. So I'm going to say this is one of my Froslass for now. So there we go. And don't let not having a card stop you from playing the game IRL, because it's still very fun. So with that in the way, I also need some Bibarels. So I have some Bibarels lying around, I believe, in one of my other decks.
So, some Bibarels in mine. I'm gonna have
Bibarel and Bidoof line over here. And that's it for all my Pokemons. Okay, now we got some trainer cards. So, adhering to what was shown on the deck list. So let's start off with some solid staples. First, we want some Buddy-Buddy Poffins to help us set up our bench, since we have a lot of low HP Pokemon. The 70 HP, that fits within the 70 HP threshold. We also have Ultra Balls for the other evolution Pokemons. And again, I'm proxying some of these since I don't have all of them perfectly. Super Rod should be X2. Actually X1. I've experimented with 2 and 1, and I decided 1 on the deck. But just in case you have to discard something and you need it later on. Rare Candies to help with the evolution acceleration for Greninja. And we also have a pair of Earthen Vessels for energies. So that can help. So an Arven draws into an Earthen Vessel into an energy. For the current A-Spec, I've decided on Prime Catcher, just because I have a copy of this IRL. A Counter Catcher, in case we fall behind, and we can use the item Gust. We can also use 2 Boss's Order. So this might be a lot of gusting for sniping, considering that Greninja is a little bit weak, but in terms of the one hit. But another thing to note in this format is that Terra Pokemons can't take bench damage, so Mirage Barrage on Terra Pokemon on the bench will be ineffective. Okay, so after gusting, we have some options for draw. So there should be, I'm using 4 of these, but I only have 2 right now. So this just helps me, you know, take a sneak peek, help me draw 1 more card, free draw. So kind of just to help thin out the deck. And for the supporters, gonna go with 3 Ionos. There's only 2 here right now, so let me see if I can find the 3rd one. And the Ionos are there to once again help with the draw power at the beginning and for disruption later on. And this can also be claimed and found with the Greninja's first attack. And I'm going with 2 Arvens. I don't have any tools, so this is pure item right now, which I might convert to another Irida. And speaking of Iridas, I would have 3 Iridas here, but Irida, I don't have any right now. So as a matter of fact, since I just realized I don't have any items, I might actually convert to 4 Iridas. So with that being said, the Irida Arven really allows me to get some items that I need. So yeah, this is a very premature deck that I built by myself, and I have some energies here as well. So I'm going to have 6 water energies. Not sure where the 6th one went. I found it. So 6 water energies and double turbo energy, which I also don't have. So you can see that I have a lot of cards that I don't currently own but wish to use. But if you have extra energies that you can probably get either through an elite trainer box or from either your local card stores giving away free energies. It's very easy to proxy cards. The main thing is if you want to practice a competitive feel, you want to have the same consistency, so cards all weigh the same. So you don't want just a regular piece of paper, because then you can know, oh, instantly this is a proxy card. So something like this I find would really help. And even if you don't want to write on the card itself, what you can do is always just write a slip of paper and then put it on top inside your sleeves. Now the next thing and the final thing is sleeves. So for sleeves, I'm using katana sleeves for these white ones, and I think they shuffle great. There's a little bit of grit on the top over here. I'm not sure if this one portrays it well. Yeah, so for some reason there's some grime when I play with it. I'm not suspecting maybe it's either the match or my hands. Do have clean hands when you play, but I'm going to try out these Dragon Shield sleeves and just to see how they would work. But essentially all sleeves are the same. You just want sleeves for consistency, and you want sleeves for essentially for competitive situations. So during tournaments and stuff, even at your locals, you're going to need some sleeves that are make your cards all look the same. And some damage counters from basically any dice would work. Just have some dice on hand for your gameplay. You can try and take some notes as well for your prize card mapping, but that's more of a gameplay thing. But in terms of how to make a deck, just to recap, have a prime or a single objective or a play style that you're going for. In my case, it is the Greninja. You could also obviously go for control. You can go for milling for other alternate win conditions, but currently I have picked this Greninja, and I have some secondary backups as well with Froslass, which is very powerful when comboed and when there are multiple of them. And have any support Pokemon that you want. I have Bibarel lineup, and afterwards have some item cards and some supporters to help you draw quicker, to help you be consistent, because consistency is key in this game. And finally have the just right amount of energy that you need. I do not see myself needing more than these 6 energies. I rarely have to shuffle them back into play with the Super Rod as well, so this could probably be also reduced. And so yeah, this would be my recommendation as to how to build a deck. Finally, have 60 cards total. So with that being said, thanks for watching, and I will probably never see you again on this channel.